Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Jeep and Things. You can tell by the title, and I put out a YouTube short telling everyone what was coming, and that is an ice retention challenge using Yeti Ice. Now, as I stated in the YouTube short, and we'll cover it again, I've had this cooler. This is my fourth and final video specifically covering things with the Yeti Roadie 15. I did the first video, I believe it was around the 4th of July. I ordered it around the 1st of July because I couldn't find it in stores. Just so you know, today is, I'm looking at my watch, the 29th of July. And I went back to the stores that I'd looked for it at the first of the month, and it's in all the stores now. So you don't have to order it. If you've got a Yeti dealer that's close to you, they should have this. So you can go check those out. Secondly, which should be first, the first thing is thank everyone for all the likes, the subscriptions, the comments. I love interacting with everyone. Got some good ideas that have come in the comments that we're going to try. We'll get to that here in a minute. But yes, the Yeti Roadie 15, and it's been a minute since I posted a video, because you can see we put it to use. We went to the beautiful state of Colorado, Garden of the Gods, came back for about 3 days, and then we went to Echo Bluff. It's beautiful out there too. Echo Bluff's about 2 hours away from the house, so that was a quick little retreat getaway. Beautiful. And I can't say enough about Colorado. Absolutely wonderful. So with that being said, here's what we're going to do with the ice retention test using the Yeti Ice. We're going to go through the same procedure that I did with the first round. And you can go back and watch that video and see how well this little cooler did using strictly ice. And I did put product in it, and we're going to put product in it this time, the exact amount of product that we did last time, the same procedures that we did last time, just to see. Now, the first procedure that we did and that we are currently doing is we're pre-chilling the cooler. Let's back it out a little. I've got a couple of frozen big bottles. We've got some freezer packs. There's some blue, which we'll pull these out when we take these out once we start the actual ice test. So yes, we've got our pre-chilling. Seal that back up. That's exactly what I did during the first ice retention test. We let it pre-chill in the house 24 hours. And we'll do a timestamp every time, or I'll tell you what time it is, what the date is as we go through the test. So that's what we're doing. We're letting it pre-chill just like we did in the first video. Now let's go take a look at the Yeti Ice and talk about it. All right, here they are, the Yeti Thin Ice that we're going to be doing the test on. And a real quick thing here, when I was doing the first segment, going over what we're going to be covering during this test and how we're doing it, one of the ideas, or one of the questions, and I believe it was Birdie 1497. Birdie 1497 had a comment. They had purchased a Roadie 24 and they wanted to know if mine leaked, if it turned over. During the first challenge of the ice retention test that I did, strictly using ice, I never thought about this, but we're going to do that. Once the test is done and all the ice is melted, I'm going to do a slosh test, and we're just going to put it over on its side, turn it over. I'm figuring it'll leak some. I don't know. I never thought about it, but you never know when your cooler's going to turn over, especially if it's in your vehicle. So we'll do a little test on that too. And thank you, Birdie 1497, for the question on that. So we're going to try that out too. Now to the Yeti Thin Ice. Okay, here you go. Yeti Thin Ice Medium. And you can see it's pretty thin. There's my little pinky finger for reference. Thin. And then we have a Yeti Thin Ice Small. The reason I have the Yeti Thin Ice Medium and a Yeti Thin Ice Small is that is what Yeti recommends for the Roadie 15. And Yetis, to get the best performance out of this, and we're going to go by what Yeti says, place them in the bottom of the cooler and we'll see how well they fit. But place them in the bottom of the cooler, put a thin layer of ice on top, then put your product on. Once again, we're going to use the same amount of product as we did last time, and then put ice on top of that. Yeti's theory is, as these is the fact that these get colder than the little blue packs, which I do have in there. These are not to take the place of ice. These are to use in conjunction with ice to make your ice last longer. And that's what we're going to find out. So they say that this freezes quicker in your freezer, stays frozen longer. They also say that since this gets extra cold, with their technology with the hole in here, supposedly that's supposed to help the performance, the ice will actually freeze to the packs and it will actually make your ice last longer. So that's what we're going to find out. So I'm going to put these back in the freezer. We are going to let that pre-chill. We're not at the correct time I'm wanting to wait 24 hours to let that pre-chill. And then we're going to get some ice later on this afternoon and get this thing started. So we will see you here shortly.
So just take precautions if you are outdoors. We'll see those hot and humid temperatures continue throughout the rest of our afternoon and also through Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Expecting heat indices anywhere from about 100 to 110. Along with the hot and humid weather comes a chance for some scattered thunderstorms.
All right, here we go. As you can see over here to the side, I've got the bags of ice. And we up here on the mantle have the pre-chilled product. So let's go ahead and unload this. And just a quick note, you'll know the little video that I put right before this. It's gonna be hot this week. I mean, they're talking about heat index, 100, 110 heat index, super humid. I'm doing this part inside the house because my glasses and camera kept fogging up because it's so foggy. As soon as we get ice in this thing though, we are headed outside with it, just like we did the last ice retention test. So last time we had the tropical storm move through, you can go back and watch that video, the ice retention test without the Yeti ice. It got up to 91 one day. It wasn't real hot and humid, so it is going to be hotter for this test, but hey, that'll just be a better test for the Yeti Ice. So let's get started. We're going to take out, this has been in here. It is, lay that down. Just set all these over here to the side. We got a couple of the freezer packs. And then we've got these and a little, still solid. Okay. So, let me go get the Yeti Ice and let's get this going. Okay, we've got the Yeti Ice, thin, medium, and small, which we've already looked at. So, they're frozen. We'll let you see what it looks like. That's how they fit in there. There's a little wiggle room. All right. Let it focus. So, set that back up and we'll put a little bit of ice in there. Once again, we are using 7-pound ice bags. Put a little thin layer on the Yeti Ice. Kind of cover that up. Our cans of soda. 4 cans of soda, which is what we used last time. 2 bottles of water. Just throw that over there. And 7 pounds of ice. I don't know if I mentioned this. I did the first video. Completely empty. This will hold 16 pounds of ice. Strictly using cans, it'll hold 22 cans. That's without ice. See if that'll close. It's a little, need to get a little ice out of it. still need to get a little more ice. All right, I think that's how get her packed down as good as I can. I'd say that's pretty darn full right there. Got an idea. I'll be back. All right, I've got my, since there is extra ice, and just for the record, that's the ice we have left. So that's about a half a bag of ice. In the first challenge, we didn't have quite that much ice left. So, yeah, this is holding 2 7-pound bags of ice, so that's 14 pounds. That's half full, so that's 3 pounds of ice, 3.5. So that's holding about 10 pounds of ice, approximately. So here's what we're gonna do though. This will be a side test. Yeti? Yeti, I got my little stickers on it too. This is the Roadie. I think this is the 18 ounce. This is my go-to water. So what we'll do, since I do have so much ice left, let's just put some ice in it. Once again, this one is not pre-chilled. As you can see, I'm gonna pack it in there. I don't know if that little screw in there. They have to take a little ice out. Well, take a little more ice out. There we go. So, and you can see, got a little ice in it. We'll just see how long that holds ice, okay? We're gonna get this outside. It is, for the record, we'll call it 5:30 on July 29th. It's 92 degrees outside. 5:30 on July 29th. We'll probably check this a little later on tonight, just see how it's doing, but let's go ahead. I'm gonna take it outside right now and let the test begin. All right, we are out here in the garage. It is about 10 till 6. So 5:30, we put the ice in, it's 10 till 6. I just want to show everybody that it is in the garage. Last time, and I don't know why, the first night, I had the cooler. I went back and watched the first ice retention challenge video, and I had it on the golf cart for the first night. And then tomorrow, we're going to put it in the same spot. There's Nipsey, right behind that tree out there. That tree gets sunlight, it gets shade, it gets a little bit of everything. That's where I put the cooler last time, so that's where it will be this time, okay? So, like I said, later on tonight, we'll come back out and check it out and see how the ice is doing. And then we'll start her again tomorrow. See you in a bit. All right, everyone. We got the garage lights on, got the mosquito candle burning. And we're going to get in here real quick before the mosquitoes do get out. We're going to call it 12:30 on the 30th. It's 81 degrees. So we started this at 5:30. I've already got my little light on. We're going to take a look. Let's take a look. So it's been 7 hours. If I can do this one-handed. I think I called this a Roadie earlier. It's actually a Rambler, 18 ounce. This was just a spur of the moment. Yeah, it's still holding ice pretty decent. But all right, I'll tighten that down here in a second. Let's take a look at the cooler. 7-hour check-in. Yep, still full. Still pretty full. which I anticipated being only 7 hours. So tomorrow, turn off our light up here. Tomorrow we'll put it out under the tree and see how it's doing. But that's our 7-hour check-in. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. As you can see, and we will back it out here a little bit. We got the cooler out under the tree. And that's where she shall be for the remainder of the test. It is 10:37. We're going to call it 10:30. It's currently 86 degrees. Do that one more time because it's stupid humid out here. 86 degrees. We'll call it 10:30. So we're at 17 hours, 17-hour mark. I think the heat index today is supposed to be 107. I'll check that out later, but nevertheless, let's check it out. On the Rambler. We got some ice water. I'm gonna get me a swig. Yeah, there's a little ice left. I'm gonna say by the end of the day that's gonna be gone, so I'm just gonna use this as ice water. That was just a little side test to see. So I would say that would keep your ice outside for 24 hours. Actually, what the heck, I'm not gonna drink it. Let's just let it roll. All right, let's check the cooler. Let's get the old cooler checked here. 17-hour check. Back out a little bit. Still doing pretty good. Still pretty full. Leave the cooler open for a second. That way, and here after a while when I check it next, I'll go ahead and get some water or a can of Diet Coke out or a Coke Zero. But there you go. That's the 17-hour mark. We'll see you back here in a bit. Okay, it is, we'll call it 2:30, 93 degrees at 2:30. So it's been 4 hours. We are at the 21-hour mark. So let's see what we got. I still hear a little ice. Yeah, well, spilled a little water. It's holding ice pretty good. I'll angle it down some so we can get a better look. If you're interested in the Rambler. So, and you know the thing with the Rambler is that's something you take with you in your car, or if you're sitting outside, you use it. But yeah, I think we're going to make it 24 hours with that. But let's go take a look at the main attraction, the cooler, see how we're doing. All right, let's see what we got here. And one thing to note, it's taking me a little bit when I come outside because it is so humid that I've got to wait and make sure the lens on my glasses and the camera aren't fogged up, because the condensation with the humidity is so bad. But with that being said, none on the cooler. No condensation on the cooler at all. Or as far as that goes, the little Rambler doesn't have any condensation. All right, let's get a soda out. Oh yeah, look at that. Still doing good, but now let's start, oh yeah, it's starting to clump together. I want to get me a good ice cold Coke Zero. Leave it open for a second while we talk here, so you can see what ice is left. And you know, we did just check it 4 hours ago, but once again, we want to do a real world test. There are some ice retention challenges that they'll pack them full of ice, and then they'll set them outside, or they'll put it in the garage and they'll check it once a day. You know, this is 24 hours. Sometimes they'll check it twice a day, like every 12. You'll notice we've checked it every 4 hours. We will be back in 4 hours, which will be 5:30, which will be the 24-hour mark. So just trying to make a little bit real world, because I know when I've got my cooler out, Especially if we got the grandkids or if it's me and the wife, you know, we're going to be in that cooler more than once a day. So just trying to make it realistic. So far, so good. So I'm gonna pop open this ice cold Coke Zero. We will see you at the 24-hour mark. All right, see you
94
then.
degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies and sun. Today, you can look for some sun and thunderstorms, with a high of 94 degrees and a low of 78 degrees. Also, there's an excessive heat warning in effect until Thursday, August 1st, 8 p.m.
All right, we're back out here for the 24-hour check. It is 93 degrees. We're going to call it 5:30. And as you just heard in the little clip before this, they have extended the excessive heat warning through August 1st. So today's the 30th. So we've got the 31st and then the 1st. So basically throughout this test, there's an excessive heat warning, but that's fine. We'll just see how it performs in excessive heat. So let's do our first little check here. If I can get this go, there we go. And she's still holding nice. Hanging on, holding nice. So we'll just put that back on, then I'll get to that here in a second. I left my phone in the house, so I'm using my little GoPro. All right, now here we go, 24-hour ice test on the Yeti. Look at that. Still holding good. Still got chunks of ice. As you saw earlier at the other check, I got a soda out. Got me a Coke Zero. So there you are. We are at 24 hours. We'll come back out and check it later on this evening. See how it's doing. We're gonna leave it right here. So we'll see y'all here in a bit. All right, everybody. Check her one more time for the night. It is 10:30, we'll call it 10:30. It is still 84 degrees outside at 10:30, nice and muggy. So last time we checked it was 5:30, which was the 24-hour mark. So we're at 29 hours. I hear a little ice there. Let me set the phone down. Let me pick the phone up. Yeah. It's still hanging on, so we're gonna let it go. We'll just set that to the side for now. And back it out. See what we got going on. And there is some condensation because we got some dew falling. But look at there, 29 hours, still blocking up. So, we shall see you all in the morning. There we go. All right, good morning, everyone. Nipsey, tell them everybody good morning there. All right, it is hot, hot, hot out here this morning. Here's what we got going on. The little Rambler, it didn't make it. I kind of picked it up, shook it. I didn't figure there'd be any ice left. So the last check on it was 29 hours last night. So we'll say it probably made it about 32, 33 hours. But that was just a little side test. So here's what we got going on, just a little refresh. Today is, and let's look at it. Today is July 31st. It's already 87 degrees. We're going to call it 10:30 in the morning. That's close enough. 87 degrees, 10:30. We started the test on July 29th at 5:30 p.m. So that means we're clocking in right now at 41 hours. 41 hours. So let's take a look and see how the old ice is doing. We're 7 hours away from 2 days. And you can see, as I stated yesterday, this gets some sun, it gets some shade, so we're down the sun. Let's take a look. Back her out. Oh yeah. Ice is going down. But we still got some ice. getting to be a lot of ice water is where we're at now. But there is definitely some ice left. So quite a bit of change from last night, but we will come back and check here in about 4 hours, see what's up. That's where we're at now. We'll check in later. All right, it's time for our next check-in. You're gonna notice that the cooler is no longer where it was because I just moved it. I'm fixing to mow the yard. So we've got it on the golf cart for now. And then as soon as I get done mowing, it's gonna go right back out where it was. I did the last check-in, I believe it was 10:30 this morning. I usually do a check-in in between there. Had some errands to run. So yeah, it's 5:32. We're gonna call it 5:30. 94 degrees still. So this will be the official 48-hour check-in / 2 days. See what we got going on. All right, tons. Let me get my flashlight here since we're in the garage. We got a lot of ice water. Actually, I'm gonna we're gonna get a water out of there so I have some to mow the yard. A lot of ice water. That's at the 48-hour mark. We will check back in with you later on tonight. See you in a bit. All right, coming back out here. It is almost, it's about 10:38. Still 80, if I can get to focus, 84 degrees. We'll call it 10:30. So we're at 53 hours. Last check for the night. And got the yard all mowed. So I put this back out here this afternoon after I got the yard mowed. So let's take a look, see what we got. Still chunks of ice. Actually, I think I'll get me a Coke Zero out here for a nightcap. So there you have it. You can see the Yeti Ice is floating, but there's still a lot of ice in there. A lot of ice water, I should say. So there we go. We will see you all in the morning, and we'll see how we do tomorrow. We're going to shoot for 72 hours. We'll see what it looks like. Y'all have a good evening. See you in the morning. All right, good morning, everyone. You see we got old Nipsey out here. If you watch my videos, then you know old Nipsey's usually out here with me. So, time to do another check-in. It is 11:32. We'll call it 11:30. It's already 88 degrees on August 1st. So we started the little ice retention challenge on July 29th at 5:30 p.m. So being that it's August 1st at 11:30, if my math is correct, we're at 66 hours. We are 6 hours away from the magical 72 hour. So let's take a look. And just one thing to note, the only area of condensation is right around, let me feel it. A little condensation where the drain plug is. Not massive, but just for record, there is a little condensation there. The rest of the cooler is good and dry. Let's look. Back it out. And whew, we are down to just water. It is ice cold water, but the ice is gone from when we last checked it last night. So we'll be back to give you my final thoughts on the Yeti Ice. We'll see you here in a bit. We officially ended at 66 hours. Those Diet Cokes and that water, the ice water is cold enough to where if I wanted to grab one out, it would be ice cold, but we're gonna call her 66 hours. We'll see you here in a bit with my final thoughts. Okay, here's my thoughts on the Yeti Ice. And just very briefly, the little Rambler, it was like, you know, why'd you drag me into this? Come on, I'm not a cooler. You know, I just had extra ice, and this lasted, I'm gonna say 30 hours with some ice cubes in it. I use this thing, and as always, whether it's the cooler, whether it's the Rambler, whether it's the Yeti Ice, my little slogan, this is all my money. Every one of you fabulous people that watch this, Yeti doesn't know I exist. And as I always say, I spend my money to let you know how it works before you decide if you want to spend your hard-earned money. So, but the little Rambler, yeah, I use this thing all the time. I've had it about 3 months, and I got a Brita filter pitcher that I'll put water in, and keeps it cold for as long as I want to. This is 18-ounce size. And then when we did travel, or I got a video I put out about a month and a half ago when I went camping, I'll put bottles of water in here, and I will pour them into this, because as you know, a bottle of water, just a plastic bottle of water, isn't going to stay cold very long. And plus they want to squish in your hand. You know, they're not real durable. So yeah, this thing gets a ton of use. 2 thumbs up for the Rambler. Now on to the Yeti Ice. Here's the thing. If you look at my first ice retention challenge using straight ice, I used the same pre-chill methods, put the same amount of product in it. This did hold less ice. If you haven't watched that video, spoiler alert, it lasted 72 hours and there was still some ice in it. Where this lasted, when I checked it at 66 hours, I believe it was, the ice was gone, but it was still ice cold. Now, we're done with the test. It's a little after 4, it's 94 degrees. We'll just pop open the Diet Coke. That is seriously, truly still ice cold. So the water in that cooler is ice cold. So I would say you could go 72 hours with canned or bottled product. I don't know about food, but yeah, it's still refreshing and it's honestly good and cold. So back to what I was saying. When I did the first ice retention challenge in early July, when I first got the cooler, the temperatures, we had a tropical storm come through, or depression. And by the time it hits this neck of the woods, it's just a lot of rain, some thunderstorms, but it cools the temperature down. So in those 3 days, the temperature got to 91 one day, and you can go back and watch the video, with low humidity. And once that storm came through, there was a high of 81. It was actually very refreshing with hardly no humidity. Big temperature change. This has been the hottest week of the year, which is fine. That'll just put this through the paces and the Yeti Ice that much more. So I'm satisfied with it. You know, we've had heat index and they bumped it up to 115. So even at night, I watched the news the other night at 10 o'clock, the heat index was still at 100. So there has been no relief for this cooler. So I would say these conditions are about as hot as you could get. Okay, so I'm pleasantly surprised. Okay, we're going to move the cooler outside. I had a comment from Birdie1497, and I had a comment from Field of Gold 149. They both said they had, I believe it was the Rody 24, and that if you tipped it over, it would leak water. My response to them was I would check into it, and I've never done the test with this. I was like, well, I would anticipate it leaking some, but very good questions from both of them. Well, I've been conversing with Field of Gold 149. You might want to go check out his channel, because Yeti's got some new waterfowl edition, if I'm not mistaken on that, coming in, and he just commented just a little bit ago. He's got his in, and he's going to do a video over that. It's not the Rody 15. It's a bigger cooler, but I went to the website. Awesome colors. I mean, so you might want to check him out. But he did a little research, and he said from what he dug up, they're made to potentially let water out if it turns over. And we're going to find out here in a second. But they're supposed to. He said the reason being is, if you use dry ice, you need some pressure release. You need somewhere for the gases to escape. I've never used dry ice. And he said he's used, cheap coolers that would just take the dry ice out of the equation, would just seal tight. You couldn't hardly get them open, which made me think when we were in Colorado, we're at 6,000 to 10,000 feet elevation. And that makes sense because it would let some air escape and you wouldn't build up so much pressure, and you can get in and out of your cooler without it pressurizing. So I'm going to shut up. I'll just say this. If you've made it this far, thank each and every one of you for watching, the likes, the subscriptions. We're at 664 subscribers. I would love to hit 1,000 subscribers. That way I'll continue to get things, and I've got some things in mind we're going to review to keep doing this for you, see how things work out. So thank each and every one of you. I love to converse with people. I try to answer every single comment and meet new people such as I have done. God bless you. Let's take this out and see how much water leaks out. We're going to have some. All right, here we go. One thing real quick, Yetis, they even make seat cushions to put on top so you can sit on them. I don't know if they do for the Roadie 15 or not, but my Tundra 65, I don't have the official cushion, but we use it for a chair. So I thought, let's see how well, because you can sit on this, by the way, if you're wondering. It's about the perfect height. If you're sitting around camp, if you're just out in the yard and you get you a drink out and you want to sit on it, it's really about the perfect height. I thought it might be too low. I'm about 6 foot tall, but yeah, it does pretty well. So we're going to zoom in a little closer, do the official splash test, see how much it leaks water if it was to turn over. And as I stated earlier, it's kind of designed to do that. So let's check it. And of course, you're going to hear a train coming in the background as it always does. But let's do it. Let's do a slosh test. There is, I don't know if you can see it on camera, there's a little water coming out of it. You want to turn it over and you can see a little water coming out here. It's on its side. Go ahead and tilt it up a little more. Lift it up. There was a little, not much. So there isn't much. Seemed like the splashing dispersed a little more water than just simply turning it on its face, but not bad. So in closing, while the train comes by, thank y'all once again. This video is going to end up being probably 34, 35 minutes long, 33. But if you're sitting around and you're like, you know what? I want to sit and watch ice melt. I want somebody to do a video just to see how long it takes ice to melt. Hey, you're at the right spot. Y'all have a great evening. I sure appreciate each and every one of you. We'll see you.